You already know what this is. 2024 NFL mock draft early first round projections. We're going to be going over Sports Illustrated Luke Easterling. Now, I actually reviewed some of his last year. He actually did a pretty good job. So, let's go back at it. Let's jump into it. You can see here exactly what I just said to you guys. An early look at how the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft could turn out. So, boom, never too early for such things around here. And with all 32 teams having officially kicked off their training camps, let's hit a mock draft. Boom, they have Arizona Cardinals projected as the first overall pick. And as you can see there, they got, to me, the clear number one pick in Caleb Williams. If the Cards end up with this pick, it likely means things didn't go so well for Kyler in 23. If they don't stick with Murray and auction this selection to the highest bidder, Arizona could restart the clock at QB with last year's Heisman Trophy winner. To me, I get Kyler's hurt. If he comes back and you end up in the number one spot, you either get an absolute bag for this number one pick, or you ship Kyler and you take Caleb. You got to do one or the other. Okay? And now they have Houston coming in at number two, meaning they go back to back. They could trade both these picks and get bags. Absolute bags for these first two picks. The first two picks could easily be Williams and Drake May. But in this instance, they're sticking with him. I assume moving on from Kyler. So we got Marvin Harrison Jr. here at number two, the clear wide receiver one in this draft. The 92 Indy Colts were the only other team in the modern NFL era to have both top two picks in the draft, but the Cards could join them. And this means pairing the son of future Hall of Fame pass catcher with Caleb Williams at QB would be off the start one of the dangerous duos in the league. And to have a star receiver, because that's what I'm going to call him, because that's what he is, and having a star, freakishly talented, man makes plays like you can't believe QB as your QB and receiver as rookies. Oh boy, that changes this team immediately. Going to number three, you got the Colts getting Fashanu. To me, he is my tackle one. I stated this already in previous videos. Indy has the franchise QB in Richardson, but he can use an upgrade at left tackle if the Colts want to protect their investment. Fashanu could have been a top 10 pick this year, but decided not to come out. So now he's a top 5. Can't knock the kid for wanting his education, and those NIL deals are nice. Okay, now you go to the Tampa Bay Bucks, finally finding Brady's replacement, because we all know, I can tell you right now, as training camp starting, Baker Mayfield is not it. Okay, you got Drake May. Tampa only ends up in the top 5 if Baker Mayfield / Kyler Trask combo doesn't produce. I don't think Baker will. Who the hell knows about Trask? So, if that scenario plays out, the Bucks would be hoping to land one of this year's top passers, and May would be the ideal target. Especially, Williams will be off the board. Then you got the Falcons, getting Dallas Turner. The Falcons are still looking for a true difference maker off the edge, and this spot should give them multiple options to fit that bill. Turner is still more upside than production at this point, but with Will Anderson Jr. moving on to the next level, he should have a chance to prove himself. And I think he will. Kid's nasty. Even watching his tape, Anderson got all the love last year because, well, he did deserve it. This kid was no slouch. Now you got the Tennessee Titans. Brock Bowers going number 6. They got D-Hop. They got D. Henry in the back. And then you got Brock Bowers here. Interesting. Titans could go in a number of directions here. So, overall talent has to be the primary target. rare tight end prospect who warrants a top 10 pick, but despite not having a massive frame and the length of Kyle Pitts, Bowers is still a monster after the catch, and he can block much better than Pitts can. You have to note that. He can block much better than Pitts can. I like this pick for them, actually. Then you got the Commanders going Joe Alt, my tackle 2. A QB might be the hope here if they're picking in the top 10, but Washington doesn't have any options that are worth considering in this scenario. Instead, you get your franchise tackle in Joel Alt. Totally agree. It's a bargain outside of the top 5. I also agree with that. Fashanu and Jolt. That's an interesting combination. Fashanu and Alt should be flip-flopped probably throughout the season, but they should be your top 2. And then you got the Patriots. Jared Verse. Another team that might need a QB. The Pats are also picking too low to land one of the only ones worth taking of a top 10 pick right now. Instead, they go with value on defense, adding a polished and productive pass rusher in Verse, who easily can land in the top 5. This kid's a freak. I can't wait to do videos on this kid throughout the year. He is a freak. You got the Steelers grabbing the other wide receiver out of Ohio State. That's crazy. 2 wide receivers in the top 10 out of Ohio State. Emeka Egbuka. I could have butchered that, but we'll move past it. I'd be shocked if the Steelers are picking this high, and it's hard to point out many glaring needs in this scenario. They have multiple value options that make sense. Apparently, people think Kenny Pickett's going to explode this year, but pairing him with Pickens and Johnson, that's a trio. And forget, you got Freiermuth and Washington. I like that offense. Don't forget Najee in the backfield either. But that's a well-rounded offense now if you do this move. Now you got the Los Angeles Rams. Kool-Aid McKinstry, arguably, could be the best name in football. The CB1 out of Alabama. There it is. Here's your Jalen Ramsey replacement. I'm not going to sit here and say he's Jalen Ramsey, but he is your CB1. The Rams need just about everything as they continue to rebuild after going all in to win a Super Bowl, and they did it. So that did pay off. Finding another shutdown corner to fill the void left by Jalen Ramsey's departure would be a good place to start, and McKinstry is that dude. He is that dude. He is CB1. It's not going to change a single thing. You got JT out of Ohio State. 3 picks in the top 11. Insane. Bears addressed most of their biggest needs this offseason, but failed to find help for the edge. That's true. But JT would be an ideal fit with size and versatility to line up outside or slide inside. This kid's a do-it-all defensive lineman. Can't wait. I actually think his draft stock's going to go even higher than this. Now the Vikings, there you have it. Kalen King, the other corner. Penn State. This kid was overshadowed by Joey Porter. He was very good last season, but he was outplayed. I really like this pick. I really like him. I think this is his time to shine, especially since Porter is gone. And it's a good pick for the Vikings, all right? So what did they have here? Success, new coordinator Brian Flores schemes. King often outplayed teammate Joey Porter last year and should finally give Penn State their first defensive back ever to land in the first round. Porter should have went in the first round. Like I said, I think I just messed up my words, to be honest. This kid outplayed Porter, but he also comes with the name. I like it. Let's see what the Raiders do. The Raiders finally address offensive line. No. They went defensive line. Mason Smith out of LSU. Another defense with holes at every level. The Raiders' biggest need is the trenches, where they need a disruptive force who can reset the line of scrimmage. Smith missed most of last season with a knee injury, but at full strength can be a dominant force at the point of attack. I still think offensive line is their biggest need, but they need help in the trenches. Both sides, you got to go with value. Here's the Packers. This is what I think they should do, but hey, they're grabbing their guy, JC, with David Bakhtiari. David Bakhtiari has been one of the league's best when healthy, but injuries have been an issue lately, and he'll turn 32 in September. JC is a massive mauler who could play either tackle spot, and he's been tested against top competition in the SEC. And by the way, he's held up. Huge pick. Packers always have a decent offensive line. Nothing wrong with this pick. I like this. Giants at 15. I don't know about this, but let's see. Let's see what they get here. I'm hoping some secondary. This is interesting. I really liked Rome out of Washington. I really like them. But I got to be honest, I want them. I don't know. I don't see them finishing 15. We'll see. Let me just read. The Giants are going to make good on their massive investment in Daniel Jones. They're going to need as many weapons as possible to help him through the air. This scenario would be a massive win in that category. He has all the traits to be a dominant playmaker at the next level and remains one of the most underrated prospects in this class. I agree. They just paid Andrew Thomas. Saquon's back. You gave Daniel Jones a deal. You got a whole bunch of receivers in the offseason. You got Darren Waller. Let's see. You got Cooper out of Kansas State, offensive lineman, going to the Bears. The Bears made some big upgrades to their offensive line this offseason, but Tevin Jenkins at left guard is still a huge question mark. BB could be an instant upgrade at the spot, and he's got the versatility to play tackle. If a lineman has the versatility to play tackle and switch into guard or vice versa, he's going to go higher than his peers just because of that versatility. Now the Texans. Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Houston has their franchise QB in Stroud, but he can use more playmakers to maximize his potential. Worthy's a big play waiting to happen on every snap with elite speed to beat defenses over the top or after the catch. Let's see how John Mechie is. He just returned to training camp. We'll see. I don't mind this pick, but they could have bigger needs at this point. Here's the Broncos. Jerson Newton. Defensive line. Offensive tackle is a possibility. That's what I honestly was about to say. But if Denver wants an eventual successor for Garrett Bowles on the left side, but in this scenario, the better match of need and value comes in the defensive trenches. Newton is an undersized but disruptive defender who could give the front some much needed juice, especially with the QBs that are now in that division. I agree with this. You got Garoppolo. You're going to be facing Garoppolo, Herbert, and Mahomes. Got to get pressure. Let's see what the Saints have to do. Derek Carr at the helm. Chop Robinson, the other amazing name in this draft. Saints just spent a second-round pick on Isaiah Foskey, but with Cam Jordan turning 35 next season, they could use another young potential pass rusher. He is an explosive defender with elite first-step quickness and a knack for getting after the opposing QB, and you have to watch Cam Jordan's cap room. This could be a cap casualty. I don't know what they're necessarily at, but the Saints, they've been over for so many years and moving money and cap's not real, whatever you want to say. This could be a nice move. Seattle, they got nasty receivers. What are they doing? Yep, Jeremiah Trotter. This kid is disgusting. All right, Bobby Wagner can't play forever, so the Seahawks will need to find a long-term replacement to line alongside of Jordan Brooks at the second level. The son of a former Pro Bowler by the same name, Trotter has the talent to follow his dad, and I'm going to sit here and say he's going to have a similar career as his dad. Looking at this kid's college tape, he is him. When it comes to linebacker, this is what you want. Awesome pick by Seattle here. Awesome pick. Got the Jags. Michael Hall. Do you guys notice how many Ohio State players are going? It's ridiculous. It's hard to find many glaring holes on this roster, but you can never have too much depth and talent in the trenches on either side of the ball. In this situation, the Jags find the best value on defense, where they land a disruptive force in Hall who can make an immediate impact as a rotational player before earning the full-time role. This kid's going to shoot up the board. I doubt he goes at 21. I see him going earlier. The Dolphins. I can't say this first name, but Gadsden, the tight end out of Syracuse. The Dolphins have bigger needs elsewhere, but it's hard not to imagine how much fun Mike McDaniel's offense would be with another versatile weapon like Gadsden in the passing game. His dad caught passes for Miami back in the day, and the younger Gadsden has size and athleticism to be a matchup nightmare. And what do you know? Why is he projected to the Dolphins? Because he's fast. He's a fast, athletic tight end. It fits their team. You got the Ravens going back. Of course, what do you know? An Ohio State player. Donovan Jackson, offensive line. The Ravens need to protect their investment in Lamar, so bolstering the offensive line would be a wise decision with their top pick. Jackson is a plug-and-play starter who would give Baltimore an immediate upgrade at left guard. I think they either do this, or depending on who's on the board, maybe they go receiver. Who knows what's happening with their boys there? But I can see this. Now you get the Lions down here. They're projecting a good season for the Lions. I guess no picture, so it's fine. But all right, we got no more pictures. It is what it is. You got the Lions. Leonard Taylor out of Miami. The Lions are another promising team with an improving roster that doesn't feature many glaring needs. They're going Leonard Taylor, defensive line. I like this. Their defense is starting to become a problem. If you're looking at the names on that defense, it's nasty. It really is. It's nasty. And here we are with my Los Angeles Chargers grabbing an Ohio State player, Denzel Burke. Now, this could be interesting. They can grab an edge here. They can grab a wide receiver here. All depends on how the cap room and who they release and what they want to do. They can also grab corner here. I don't have an issue with this. I would like to also see a tight end. Whatever's best available at that point. But plenty of directions for the Chargers to go here, but the secondary should be a top priority. Ohio State has been churning out talented defensive backs for years now, and Burke has the talent to be the next shutdown corner to come out of Columbus. I understand this. They probably don't have Michael Davis next year, so you're probably going to have JC, Asante, Denzel Burke. All right, you still have the young guns and Jasir Taylor, so I don't mind this. You got the Packers from the Jets, Kalen Bullock out of USC. Unless Rodgers suffers a serious injury this season, the Packers should get an additional first-round pick from the Jets, courtesy of their trade. After addressing their long-term need at offensive tackle earlier in the round, Green Bay bolsters their secondary with a rangy playmaker. This kid tracks the ball very well. And like they just said here, the kid's got the range. USC's going to have a nice year, I think. I think USC's going to have a nice year. All right, moving on to the Dallas Cowboys. Barrett Carter from Clemson. These linebackers from Clemson in the upcoming draft are going to be ridiculous. Don't be shocked if they go higher than this. But Dallas will be hopeful that DeMarvion Overshown can become a quality starter alongside Leighton Vander Esch. Okay, but if he doesn't flash that potential as a rookie, they can easily target someone like Carter that can fill that void. This kid's impressive, hell of a prospect. I know they just re-signed Diggs or extended Diggs to a long-term deal. I don't mind it. You can maybe even look at wide receiver depending on what happens, but I think this is a really good pick for the Cowboys. Now the Bengals. Talk about a scare this week for the Bengals, huh? Joe Burrow, the whole calf thing. Whoa. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. Why would this not shock me? Well, there's a whole big thing about Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, somebody possibly not being on that roster. It's not going to be Jamar. Jamar's staying. Whatever. But Malik Neighbors at LSU, kid is legit. Rich get richer here as the Bengals give Burrow yet another explosive playmaker for the passing game. Neighbors flashed big play ability for the Bayou Bengals last year. And Would give Cincy some long-term insurance if they can't re-sign T. Higgins to an extension. That's the name I was thinking of. T. Higgins. Yeah, league neighbors. Go look at his highlights. Kid shifty. And just as they say here, big playability. Buffalo Bills. What do they do? Secondary? No, edge. Braylon Trice. This offense needs an early down running back, but they probably won't spend a first round pick to get it. That's smart. Instead, the Bills continue to load up on talented pass rushers with Trice, who has the size, power, and explosiveness to quickly develop into a dangerous presence off the edge. Washington's got a good team this year. This man is legit because of his versatility. Size, power, and explosiveness to quickly develop, and presence off the edge. If he puts on a little bit of weight, I don't see why you can't kick him inside here and there. Braylon Trice, this will be a solid pickup for the Bills, too. Eagles. Let's see. Georgia? Nope, it's not a Georgia player. I don't think this is going to happen. But whatever. Safety. Andrew, not going to butcher his last name. The Eagles are loaded just about everywhere, but safety could prove to be their weakest link this season after offseason departures. Andrew is a versatile, rangy defender with the ball skills to make big plays in the passing game and the willingness to mix it up against the run. I would like to see Andrew put on a little bit more size. I think he's a little bit undersized for a safety. Don't be shocked going into the draft if he is considered more of like corner-ish. I would like to see him put on a little bit of size. Even this picture, you can see the man needs a little bit more girth to him. But good pick. 49ers here at 20 or 31. Wow. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. You're going to have a big season, huh? What do we got? Oh. Kingsley, offensive tackle out of BYU. I think this is very smart right there. I was going to bring his name up. Mike McGlinchey out in free agency this offseason. 49ers need a long-term replacement at right tackle. He's a huge blocker, massive wingspan, big upside. Immediately going to come in, plug that spot. I don't know if he lasts this long, but if he does, that's solid. And when you really think about the 49ers, there's not many holes they have either. I mean, if you're drafted at 31, there's not many holes you got. But I'm going to put it this way. If Kingsley is here at 31, this could be a steal. I mean, look at the size of him. And that's a sick picture, by the way. Kansas City Chiefs. Wide receiver. Tight end. Jatavion Sanders. Really? I don't know about this one. We'll see. Much Chiefs fans won't want to admit it. Kelsey can't play forever. 34 in October. I didn't realize he was that old. Sorry for yawning. I didn't realize Kelsey was that old. Kansas City would be wise to find his future replacement sooner than later. Sanders will barely be 21 years old the next April, and he's got all the tools to be a dynamic playmaker at the next level, especially if he gets to learn from Travis Kelce. And let's be honest, Mahomes should make this kid better. I don't know if it's too early. Obviously, they would only know, the whole front office and everything. They would really only know if this is too early to replace Kelce. I don't see why you don't go wide receiver. You can always go defensive line. But I don't mind this pick. Scrolling back up here, picks I really liked. I do like Denzel Burke for the Chargers here. It's smart. Somebody's got to go. If you get a legit receiver here, won't be shocked if they go back-to-back years on receiver. Obviously, it'll be like I like Xavier Worthy to the Texans. You get a young offensive team like that. You got Stroud. You still have John Mechie. And then you grab Xavier Worthy as well. That's a young offensive team. You got Dameon Pierce. That's nice. This is a solid pick for the Bears. Not too sure about wide receiver, considering they just unloaded there. this is a huge pick. But once again, guys, this next upcoming season is going to be awesome. The draft is going to be so cool. But this is the early first round projections heading into training camp. I'm Two Tone Sports, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.